What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about Nintendo's shocking revelations from their recent investor meeting. There's some nuggets of information in here, some of it that we knew about, but still shocked me that nothing was pushed, and then also what they're doing with some third-party developers. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So Nintendo has stated that they have more titles that are coming that haven't been revealed. So yes, we all know that Nintendo's always working on more things, but to hear them flat out come out and just say, yo, there's actually more things that are coming out, because if you look at this year, it's been pretty crazy, or it's going to get pretty crazy here in July. Mario Maker coming out in June, Astral Chain, Fire Emblem, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. There's a lot of cool games, and then you combine that with what's going on for the rest of the year. I can kind of see why Nintendo's kind of loading things up this summer. I'm hearing some pretty crazy things about the ad campaigns that are be going down, and then also what's going to be going down in the fall with these games, because you guys are seeing it. Pokemon Sword and Shield Winter, Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing, and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening 2019. But let's go ahead and get into what Shuntaro Furukawa had to say on the matter. Coming from Nintendo's financial briefing, as you can see, we will constantly release new titles during the fiscal year ahead, and there are still more titles that we have not yet discussed. That's kind of like the shocking thing yet. If you look at it, all of 2019, there's still even more that we have not seen yet. Now, we intend to continue to expand the lineup of software that can be enjoyed by consumers around the world and that will keep people playing Nintendo Switch. In addition, we will continue with efforts designed to keep consumers playing software long after it has been released. For example, we released a major free update to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that adds a stage builder and the ability to edit and post gameplay videos, simultaneous with the release of the first set of paid add-on content this month. Mario Tennis Aces was released back in June of last year, but we have continued to hold tournaments and distribute new characters, and in a major free update, a new kind of gameplay. By releasing content online and holding events that build excitement for a game, we are making the game fresh for consumers and encouraging them to keep playing. So this is awesome stuff here. It's really good to see that Nintendo not only has these games that are all still coming out. Once again, many people felt that Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing, or Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, one of these could be delayed, and some people are actually shocked to see that all this is still coming. And if you look at what's going on here at the top, you've got Nintendo Labo, which just released Super Mario Maker 2, which we talked about, Fire Emblem, Three Houses, Astral Chain as well. Those are all going to be really good. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Nintendo's going to be picking up. So that is an insane and shocking lineup for 2019, guys. That is just so good for them to have all these different games, and then they said there's even going to be more that we don't know about. I'm guessing because they did talk about the Nintendo Direct that's going to be going down at E3, and it seems like we're not going to get anything leading up to that. So there's not going to be some type of spring Direct or something like that. They're really going to do a Nintendo Direct at E3. It just seems that way. I don't know for sure. They could shadow drop something or something like that, but I'm not really sure. But either way, it seems like they're just going to really go into E3 and have some nice announcements. They're probably not going to spend half of the presentation or something on one game like they did with Super Smash Bros. Because they got a lot of stuff to detail with maybe Pokemon, with Luigi's Mansion, Animal Crossing, Legend of Zelda. We get some release dates for those games, probably get an updated trailer, more information on Astral Chain, Fire Emblem, Three Houses, probably get some updated information maybe on online play or co-op. Super Mario Maker 2 might get another video or so, even though it's dropping later that month. So there's a lot of great things going on here, and I'm actually shocked that Nintendo is going to release all of these games in 2019. Another little side note here, guys, which is not shocking at all. Bayonetta got changed from like 2019 to be decided, but I thought it was always to be decided, but there are people that are linking some of that online, so there you go with that. But another thing that's a little bit different than what we've seen, or maybe a little bit shocking to some other people, is what Nintendo talked about when it comes to third-party games and third-party support on the Nintendo Switch. So here's what Nintendo had to say on third-party Switch games and how more dev kits have shipped to publishers than any of its other platforms. Think about that for a second. More dev kits, so where developers can make games, has shipped to publishers than any other previous systems. You look at the Wii, you look at the NES, these are some of the best-selling systems of all time, especially with the Wii with over 100 million units, and you're doing more with the Switch with its 30-something million? That's crazy. That just goes to show you how selective Nintendo was sometimes with the dev kits in the past compared to what they're doing now here. The information here comes directly from Shuntaro Furukawa. Quote, "We are also bringing an even richer variety of new titles from other software publishers as we enter the third year of the Nintendo Switch. What you see here is just a sample. These range from evergreen titles for video game fans to titles that can be enjoyed by anyone, regardless of age or gender. Characteristic titles created by indie developers, a variety of genre-specific games, and more. By bringing them together, the Nintendo Switch library will continue to meet consumers' diverse tastes. Many publishers are developing titles for the Nintendo Switch because it has met our expectations of widespread adoption, which I'll talk about that in a bit, and because we made our development environment available from the very beginning. The number of Nintendo Switch development kits shipped to publishers continues to greatly exceed the number of kits for any of our previous platforms, and many developers are creating titles for the Nintendo Switch. So if you look at this kind of board that you got right here, you're definitely getting a lot more games that you didn't see before, maybe even like on the Nintendo 3DS from Western developers, or even if you've seen like on the Wii, there was just like a set amount, whereas with the Nintendo Switch, you're seeing a lot more. And like Shuntaro Furukawa had to say here, it's because of the widespread adoption. That was Nintendo's plan from the very beginning, and I talked about that, right? When I said that Nintendo, like what they're doing with third parties wanted to see that Nintendo can actually prove it. Like they can prove that they can build a platform that they can build off of. They didn't want to sit there and say, okay, we're going to invest, and then nobody buys the system. Nintendo had to do it themselves, and they did it themselves in that first year with Mario, with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, with Splatoon, with ARMS, with all these different games. Okay, they had some indies kind of jump into, some other Japanese developers, Disgaea, stuff like that. You got the support coming. In the second year, even with less support when it comes to first party games, or maybe not as much or big hitting first party games sales wise, they still jumped up another almost 17 million units sold in that fiscal year. So going into this year, obviously it's all systems go for a lot of these developers. We're seeing stuff like Cuphead on here, Crash Team Racing on here. You also have Yokai Watch. There's the new Mario and Sonic, Dragon Quest XI S Definitive Edition, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. You also have Mortal Kombat 11 that just launched, Hellblade, Resident Evil, God Eater, Dead by Daylight, Assassin's Creed. So there's definitely a lot more stuff coming in at this point than we saw back in 2017 and even in 2018 at some point. You're seeing a consistent flow of games, especially in April here with like Final Fantasy X/10-2. Final Fantasy 12 is coming out very soon. There's just like a lot of different games, man. A lot of different games. Dragon's Dogma just came out recently, which skipped the Wii U. All these games pretty much skipped the Wii U and could have been on the Wii U, but just skipped them. So it's great seeing stuff like God Eater, and just seeing stuff like Assassin's Creed 3, that remastered's coming over this May as well. Sniper Elite's coming too. I mean, there's just a lot of different stuff. There's a lot of different stuff. Inazuma 11 still coming, guys. Daemon X Machina. That's another game that Nintendo's helping out with Marvelous in order to get that done. So I'm looking forward to more third-party developers when it comes to Japanese ones and when it comes to Western developers putting out more stuff on the Switch. I already know that it's not going to get everything, but this is definitely a nice step above what we got with the Wii U and even the Nintendo 3DS. And even with the 3DS, because the 3DS did not get games like Mortal Kombat 11, 3DS didn't get Hellblade, 3DS didn't get stuff like Cuphead or Assassin's Creed. We just didn't see stuff like that on the 3DS. I mean, we saw stuff from some Japanese developers, yeah, so stuff like Inazuma 11, but we didn't see all the other stuff that's coming over to Nintendo Switch. So just like I stated before, it's going to take big sales, and this is the reason why you want to see those big sales, is because the developers say, okay, there's the sales there, we have an audience, hey, we can sell our game, we can profit off of it. There has to be a business incentive for them to support the system, because you just don't know. Nintendo's a little bit of a wild card, right? You could get a Wii situation, you could get a Wii U situation, or you could get something like a Nintendo 64 situation, or you could get a GameCube situation. I mean, it's all over the place with anything that Nintendo's considered to be a home console at any point, whereas their portables, a little bit different, right? A little bit different with those, but it's all over the place when it comes to it. So Nintendo's definitely proving that, one, they can sell systems. Obviously, they've been selling quite a bit. The March MPD, that was just shocking to see that 384,000 units sold for the March MPD. I talked about that in a recent video. Can't believe Nintendo sold that much, considering the next closest system was like the PlayStation 4 with 250,000 units or something around there. So more than 130,000 units plus more on the Nintendo Switch for the March NPD, and that's US sales only. We already know what's going on in Japan. We talked about how the Nintendo Switch is getting ready to pass up the PlayStation 4 in total overall sales in Japan, despite launching 3 years after the PlayStation 4 in Japan, and it's pretty much already ready to catch it there. So that's also incredible as well. Nintendo's doing very good considering where they were just a bit ago. they're outpacing the Nintendo 3DS when it comes to sales, and I think they're a little bit behind, or they're behind the Wii and the DS, which in my opinion is to be expected. But I think this year is going to be a major proving ground and be shocking once we get those numbers for the 2020 fiscal year. They projected 18 million. I think we're going to see more than that if they can produce more than that, because having these games that we talked about on here, all this different stuff, especially with July, having all this before in the summer, having this ad campaign that I know that they're going to do in addition to what we're seeing in the fall with Legend of Zelda and with Pokemon Sword and Shield and with Animal Crossing, the big hitters here, Luigi's Mansion 3, those are all big games that are going to sell a lot of systems and a lot of copies. So I'm excited to see what Nintendo has next for us, man, because this is going to be pretty crazy. And then of course they talked about how there's even more games that we don't know about that they're going to announce, which we always know that there's going to be more, but it's crazy for them to even just say that at this point, considering where we are. But hey, it's the investors meeting. I get it. You have to make sure that the software supplies and the line is still going and everything. So they did tease some more stuff. Now that actually has me a lot more excited for E3. I mean, I'm always excited for E3, but that has me a lot more excited because we know about a lot of these games that are coming out. What are they going to announce? What's going to be like the Daemon X Machina that just drops out of nowhere? What's going to be the Marvel Ultimate Alliance or some of these other games that we just got surprise announcements that nobody knew was coming back but shocked people, right? Astral Chain. Is there going to be multiple announcements like that? We could see that at this year's E3 or at Directs this year. So I can't wait to see more, especially with what they're already doing. This is going to be a crazy and shocking year for Nintendo. So what do you guys think about all the different stuff that we talked about here? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this one here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for this RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.